I got my little microphone here. Okay, so you guys, hello, welcome. It's been a while since I've been live. And today's topic is very interesting, learning about heaven from our loved ones on the other side. So I have been pushed super hard to do this video for quite some time. And I've been doing some mediumship readings, and it's been absolutely beautiful, amazing. And I really, was it yesterday's reading? Yeah, yesterday's reading, I was like, all right, I'm doing a video. We got to talk about it. Spirit's been super hot talking about it. So if you guys don't know who I am, welcome to one of my videos, especially if you guys are clicking on this. And if it's a few years from now, I may not offer some of the same services that I'm talking about in this video. So you'll have to go to tawnyamarie.com. All the information will be down below. I don't even know if I have that. I guess I don't. So, nope. So, okay, sorry, I'm all over the board. I'm super excited about today's video because I'm like, oh my gosh, I've wanted to talk about it for so long. So if you guys don't know me, my name is Tawnya Marie. I am a clairvoyant, master energy healer, channeler. Where's my normal stuff? You name it, I do all the things under the spiritual realm. I've been gifted since I was a kid. I'm an empath. I have all my clairs are open. I don't normally smell, but sometimes I smell whatever clair that is. So, yeah, I do it all. I am the CEO and founder of Rainbow Ray Healing. I have multiple shows on my YouTube, couple Facebooks, Talking with the Angels and Beyond, Tawnya Marie, the Heart Girl. I have an SOS Sanctuary Oneness. Oh, that's funny. A cardinal is out my window. We're just talking about this. Sanctuary that I do with Tommy Forbes. So I have a lot of stuff. I'm in a lot of stuff. You may have seen me on BLU Television and podcast. So I've kind of been all over for a few years. So in the beginning of my journey, how this kind of was one of my awakenings. And if you watch on my YouTube, I have a story talking about my awakening, but I'll tell you a little bit about when I heard my grandma after she had passed away on her deathbed. My grandma was diagnosed with cancer. She was kind of my spiritual mentor. And when she was at her crossing over at her last moments, after she had passed away, I could hear her like I'm talking to you, like I can hear somebody on the phone in my head. And I thought, oh, no big deal. It's because I just heard her, whatever. So I'd meditate and she would show up in my meditations. So I'm trying to remember when she died. In 2016, February. I had this book that I wrote when I would get meditations on what I would see. And the evening of September 2nd, 2017, she started talking to me about heaven and kind of what to expect and the different little areas of heaven. And I was fascinated because she sat me down and she started talking about when you first kind of cross over, and the main first one that everybody kind of goes to, known as clearing your karma, life review, and started going through all these areas. The second one is where the children are and the pets and the halls in the library and where you can learn about the spiritual laws and all these things. And I was like, wow, that's really fascinating that I'm learning about all this stuff. So she wrote through and talking about working if you wanted to be a spirit guide. And there was definitely all these different little, she called them levels, pods, but it's all, and then higher level of consciousness. So I thought that was interesting. And then I started really doing a lot of readings, and I was doing a lot of mediumship. And I was learning a lot about the other side. And I talked to a couple brothers and dads. And I remember one guy that I had read, he was talking how he was a mechanic on the other side. And I was like, the hell? there's mechanics on the other side like this. And he's like, yeah, we've got, like, we're doing a lot of stuff on the other side. And when they were showing me this overview, there's a couple books, and after being in my journey for a while, if you've ever heard of Astral City, it is very similar to when that man had channeled and did the movie. And I was like, oh my gosh, when I watched the movie, I was like, that's what I heard from all these people on the other side and from my grandma when I had wrote this in meditation. And it was funny because when I've been doing the mediumship readings, I guess I haven't really talked about this in my video. So I was like, I'm going to dedicate one video about heaven and like understanding kind of like from what I have channeled, being the channeler and talking to your past loved ones, what I've learned so far. And from my grandma sitting down, and then now, Astral City, if you've watched it. And then a couple months ago, I got drawn to this book, and it had talked about everything that I had been learning from your past loved ones, from my spirit guides, from masters, from Jesus, from Mother Mary. And I was like, whoa. And Letters from Mother. And this is a beautiful book that was written, my grandma gave it to me in, I think it was 1964. And when I read this, I had just read it a couple months ago. I got drawn to it. I was reminded of heaven and how beautiful it is over there, and how death is not a scary thing, and how there is no death, and we continue just to move on. We just move out of this physical being. How do you know when this was made? Yep, 1964. So after reading this book, I highly recommend it. It really, I was like, I need to start talking about this more. There's a lot of people that have passed away, and anytime death hits somebody home, like, very close to home, then that's when usually people reach out to me and they're like, okay, I never believed this stuff, but I really want to connect with so-and-so. Or I really want to know, I'm in grief, I'm having pain. And that's when really heaven comes up. We go through a whole life review. Having my near-death experience, I never got to go that far. I was only in the space of white, moving towards the white, and it was in this beautiful space. And then that's when I had got called back. So if you've listened to any near-death experiences, they have gone further than I have and been able to talk about life reviews. And I found this piece so important, especially here on Earth, when you talk about life reviews. When you go through your life review, you have to experience everything from your point of view and then the other person's point of view. So if you were mean to somebody, hurt somebody, you're going to feel their emotions. That's why I'm extremely mindful of when I say something that I think about the other person's feelings, because I know when I cross over that I'm going to have to feel their emotions and the words that I said and how that affected them. So that's why I really encourage people, be passionate, be courteous, think about other people, because you're going to be in their shoes one day when you're on the other side and feel what you did and the emotions that they felt. So, one of my, another person that I learned a lot from, I had a friend of mine from high school that died. It's going on 9 years, and he kind of taught me a lot too. And he told me that he was going to reincarnate, and he taught me a lot about the other side. There's halls of records. There is counseling sessions and mentoring, and you get to hang out with the other people. I met one guy who was actually just the reading yesterday. He was in a field, in a pasture, with his dogs and living a beautiful life over there. And it reminded me of a reading I had a few years ago, and the grandpa was doing the same thing, and he was happy and content. And it was like the joy that you see of them over there. It's like Earth, but not, and it's so much better. The colors are defined and it's beautiful. And I think the reason why I really got drawn to doing this is so many people I hear are so scared of death. And when they come and pop on my videos and I'm very like nonchalant about it, they're like, well, how? And don't you miss your loved ones? Yeah, I miss them, but they're so freaking happy over there, and heaven's amazing. The other side is amazing. And they're like, well, I'm going to miss Earth. I'm like, no, you won't. Let me tell you right now. Well, I'll miss my kids. Yeah, there's always a missing because we're physical, but we are also non-physical or energy. And love and unconditional love never dies. And there is really no separation. There is a perception of physical that we can see. But the more you tap into your heart and soul and really get into a place of silence, you can connect with your past loved ones. You can still feel them around you. How many times have you been in a room and you're like, oh my gosh, I smell my grandma's perfume, or I'm smelling a cigar, or I feel them next to me. That's them saying, hey, what's up? I'm still with you. Death is an illusion. We never really die. We transition. So my mediumship readings have been awesome. Like right now, I'm offering limited time mediumship readings. I'm not going to post that below because if you end up seeing this in a few years from now, you're going to be like, what is this? So you'll have to check out my Facebook pages. That'll be in the comment below. So I'll be running that for a little while. What else do we want to know about heaven? You know, there's the Hall of Records where you can check out about life. There's learning. One of the guys that I had talked to, one of the grandpas, is in learning more about love, compassion. There's lots of helping going on the other side, helping here on Earth. Lots of, levels of consciousness over there. So you can learn about healing. You can learn your state of consciousness that you're in here moves to the other side. So the more you learn about who you are, the lessons that you came here to do, the more you evolve here, the more that's where you transition there and evolve. It's kind of this back and forth evolution process. And the more you learn and grow, there's constantly learning and growing no matter where you reincarnate. This planet, another planet, on the other side, you're constantly learning, evaluating, growing, unconditional love, compassion, harmony. Like there is this constant, I know they keep going, like flow that happens. Let's see, what else do we want to talk about that's there? That people, have their own houses and homesteads, and there is sometimes I get this like, oh, well, are dad and mom together? Not always. Like you're so ingrained in this world, like you have this, these are your kids, these are your husband, this is your parents. It's like you came here as a soul with its own life path, with its own lessons, came here to do something. You have had partners, people and situations and relationships that have taught you something. These are your teachers of life. You're not bound to them for death do us part. That's why I did not have that in my vows. Like, and we're here together and we're here forever, or this. It's like they are an experience. Every job you come into, relationship, partnership, your children, they're here to teach you something because you came here to learn. You came here to experience. Take the knowledge and continue moving forward. That's what we do, is we're evolving beings of light made of unconditional love. So the places of heaven and learning and evaluating, you learn about energy healing over there. You learn about understanding conscious more. You understand, the divine. You really begin to understand a whole lot. I feel like I'm about to get a bloody nose. I'm like, woo. When your the mind and the ego begins to move away. So when you come for a mediumship reading, whoever you go, come in with an open mind that they're bringing in messages of just love and compassion, and then it's really freaking awesome on the other side. Do not fear death, because there is no death. It's an illusion. The people on the other side are happy. They're learning. It's very similar, but so much better. What else would we like to bring about that I may have missed? We talk about everybody asks me about dogs. I can read their dogs that have passed over, had thousands of those. They're still there. You can visit your dog comes in. It's the same thing. They visit there, they have, they can get together with past loved ones. They may be in a different area. Studies of learning, yes, different schools, advanced techniques, especially about healing and understanding. Lots of healing, compassion, because what you've learned here, you can also use on the other side. I've had lots of teachers that were teachers here, learning over there, helping, definitely helping, coming here. Call on your loved ones and they come. They might be busy on this other side, but they come to you. They're always aware of what's going on. What's some other things that we want to talk about? It's something that I was like really super bummed about, because I'm kind of a foodie if you watched any of my shows. I was really hoping that like heaven had some great like food, and I'm like, I keep hearing like there's not really food over there. It's more like water and energy and this and like, and I'm like, really? Like that bums me out. So that's where I'm like, if I'm gonna eat whatever the hell I want here, I'm eating it. There was a guy yesterday, this dad, and he was missing. He's like, I'm sure missing my afternoon peanuts. And I was like, really? And then another one was wanting like a hearty bowl of like chili or something, of like soup. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so funny. So that was interesting. Found that out. I was really bummed because I was hoping that there would still be chocolate. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So now I'm like, if I want chocolate cake, I'm eating chocolate cake. So that was kind of cool. What was the other things that I had learned? There was this one brother. I got to tell you the story because it was so funny. He comes in, he walks in, and he's like, he was making contact with his sister. And he's like, all right. He's like, so I guess she wants to know about this woo-woo stuff. And I'm like, I'm talking to a dead person and you're making fun of what we're doing. Are you serious? And she laughs and she's like, that's kind of his personality. Your personality is kind of on like the same on the other side. It's funny when I talk to parents of that, family members, because it's very much like jokesters. This one, oh my gosh, I talked to this uncle yesterday, and the energy that came through was like, and I was like, oh, I'm happy. It was joy. I was like, oh, it was like this burst of beautiful energy. It just overwhelmed me. It was so awesome. Like they'll bring through, like this one grandma brought in like tea and marshmallows. That had happened. I was like, what the heck is this? Like some random stuff. That's why my conversation, like I want to have a conversation with you, because the stuff they bring in is like so random. It was so funny. They're like happy over there and it's fun. I love like being the channel and the medium, even though I'm like, I'm trying to say stuff and I'm like, please help me. Like, does it stick? But it's a lot of fun. So I don't, the reason why I did this is rejoice in transition. Rejoice when they make their transition, because it's freaking amazing. It's bliss. It sucks for us because we miss them, because it's like, oh man, I'm not going to see you for a while till I transition. But I feel like we need to change our mind frame about death and the transition, because it's freaking glorious. The angels are singing, the triumph that goes on, and the energy that overwhelms you. It is glorious. It is a celebration. I don't know. I guess when you see the other side, your mind changes. And when you talk to enough people who are on the other side, full of life and love, you don't think of death like something morbid and gross. You think of it as beautiful, amazing. It's wonderful, wonderlust. Like it's just glorious. So I hope this little piece of, peeping in the windows of heaven and knowing that your loved ones are freaking happy and living the best life, which is funny to say, is, they're at peace. They love you. They're always with you. And you can feel them. Just turn your damn head off. Stop thinking so much. Feel with your heart and your soul. So if you're interested in having a reading service with me, I do it all. Check out my website, shoot me a message, shoot me an email. I hope this brighten your day and get a little piece of heaven here on earth, and know that our loved ones are with us, loving us. All right, you guys have a great day, and I'll see you soon.